Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 55 of Matt Chat. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. You see, yes, I still have my Christmas tree up there. This is Melissa Ross, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness and your children's yoga instructor with Breathe With Me Yoga. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season. I'm going to invite some friends on to join us here. I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday season. I'm wishing you all a happy new year coming back. It's funny, Thursday evening fell on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve this year. So we took a break and we let you all celebrate Christmas and New Year's without airing Matt Chat. But now we are back. It was episode 55 is our very first episode of this brand new year, 2021. And I want you all to come in, put hashtag live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and put hashtag shift your mind in the comments, my friends. We're going to invite a few more people on and then we will get started. But you will notice today's topic. Today's topic says, a positive mindset does not mean forcing a negative thought to become positive. And we're going to talk about why that is, what that means, and why that topic came up for me today. All right, a few more people there. Okay, my friends, let's see who's with us. German Sanchez is here. Hello, my friend. Hashir is here, says, can I join? Yes, welcome, my friend. Iraj is here. Welcome. Hashir says, hashtag shift your mind. Thank you, my friend. All right, friends. So today we're talking about the idea that having a positive mindset does not mean forcing negative thoughts to become positive thoughts. And you know, the topics that we talk about on Matt Chat always come from my everyday life. There's usually something that has affected me, something I've talked to a client about this week, or something that's affected me personally this week. And that's how I come up with the topics and decide about what we're going to talk about this week. And so this one, it did come up for me this week. I was speaking with a friend this week, and this friend called me out because it was holiday time. Mark Reese is watching. I hope you're well tonight, Mark. It was holiday time, and guess who slipped off of her journaling over holiday time? Yes, you guessed it, I did. Your very own coach here. So I know it happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us. We all slip off of our routines during holidays or during special occasions, or just sometimes when we get busy in life. When life gets busy, sometimes we slip off of our routines. So I did slip off of my journaling a little bit, and I was moving through some energy and moving through something, and a friend called me out today on it and said to me, you can't force a negative thought to be a positive thought. And we talked a bit about how we work through those things, and I agreed with my friend, and I said to him, you're right, I agree with you, you can't force that. But what it opened up for me inside my mind is that by slipping off of my journaling, I was attempting to force that. So even though I knew in my mind that you can't force that to happen, I was attempting to force that by working through those thoughts in my mind, okay, rather than journaling them out. So this topic is moving us into journaling and the importance of journaling. So I know it doesn't say that in the topic there. It talks about the actual idea of forcing a negative thought to become a positive thought. But we do that when we lack our journaling, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like, friends. I know we all do this. So we all say something negative to ourselves or think something negative. And it could be, I know that's never going to happen. Or it could be, I'm getting paid tomorrow and it's supposed to be that much money, but what if it's not? Or I know that they're not going to pay me for this certain thing that I did, or for this certain service I did. So, we start making contingency plans in our head, or I know this certain money isn't going to come in. Whatever it is, whatever that negative thought is inside our head. And then right away, when we're trying to be positive and be in a positive mindset, so right away, sometimes we think to ourselves, oh no, don't think that thought. That's a negative thought. I know that money's going to come in and it's going to be great, or I know that I'm going to be great at this job, or doing this thing. Maybe I'm in a play, okay? I know I'm going to break a leg. I'm going to be great. I'm going to go do that part and I'm going to be wonderful at it. Don't think those negative thoughts, right? But when we do that inside of our heads, we're shortcutting. Okay, we're shortcutting the process of moving into positivity and working through those negative thoughts. And this was pointed out to me today by my friend. He called me on it. So rather than forcing that negative thought and shortcutting that process and forcing it to be positive, Neil is here. Welcome, Neil. He says, #shift your mind. You can turn a negative thought around by recognizing it. Yes, you can turn around by recognizing it. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about recognizing it and working it through in our journaling rather than forcing it inside our heads to become something positive. Because when we do it that way, when we have that negative thought and then we think, oh no, don't think that, and we turn it into a positive right way, it's almost like we're telling ourselves and telling our brain that negative thought is no good. That that's not healthy to have that negative thought. We're not actually allowing ourselves to recognize the thought and maybe sometimes even thank the thought for being there. Ross Chudzik is here. Welcome, Ross. Sometimes we're not allowing that thought or allowing ourselves to be grateful for that thought or thanking that thought for being there. And so we're not working through that thought appropriately. We're not working through it, fully working through it. We're forcing that negative thought to be a positive thought when we're doing that inside our heads. So this is when our journaling becomes really, really important. So, and it doesn't have, it's not like you have to keep a journal every day, but this is where writing it down on paper becomes important. We can do bullet journaling as well. We can use bullet journaling. We don't have to use full sentences. We can just put bullet points, but we're working through it. So what I want you to do, what I invite you to do this week as homework is to go through this process that I'm going to describe right now anytime you have a negative thought. Rather than saying all of a sudden in your head, oh no, I shouldn't think that, I should think this way. I invite you all to get a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, whatever, and start writing that thought down. So what is that actual negative thought? So if that thought is, I'm not going to do well at this assignment, okay? Or I'm not going to do well at that job. Then write down, I'm not going to do well at that job. Write down what the job is, okay? And then I want you to sit with that, okay? Look at what that statement is. And I want you to feel into the emotions that you're feeling around that thought. And try and really delve into why you're feeling that way. Where is that thought and that feeling coming from? Why do Lamar is here. Welcome, Lamar. Hamat is here. Welcome, Hamat. Why do I feel like I'm not going to achieve that, or I'm not going to accomplish that, or I'm not going to be good at that? What emotions are coming up for me? And I want you to jot those down. Jot those emotions down. Jot what's coming up surrounding that thought and really feel into it. Feel into where that thought is coming from, why it happened for you, why it came up for you, what emotions, what feelings you have around it, okay? And I want you to write those down. And then we're going to thank that emotion for being there, okay? Thank that negative emotion and that negative thought for being there, all right? Recognize it. And really feel into what's underneath it, what that underlying feeling is and where it's coming from and where you can move into. Simone is here and she says, I love this. I'm glad it's speaking to you, Simone. So really feel into, where that's leading you to and why that thought is there. And then you can take that thought and move it to a positive thought. Shika is watching. I hope you're well tonight. So then you can reframe that. Okay, so now that you've written down that negative thought, you've really felt into the emotions and the feelings behind it and really tried to figure out why that thought is there. Maybe that thought is there because I feel inadequate. Maybe I had that thought that I'm not going to do well at that, or I'm not going to achieve something huge at that work or that job or whatever it is because I feel inadequate. I feel like I'm not good enough. Or maybe I feel like I hurt something in my body. If it's a physical act, maybe I hurt my ankle and I'm feeling uncertain about my ankle. Whatever that underlying thought is, it could be anything for you. Simone says this is very powerful. Thank you, Simone. Lamar says, wow, honoring your space instead of resistance. Absolutely. So we're honoring that thought. We're getting to the bottom of that emotion and that feeling. We're honoring that negative thought, whatever that thought was, and we're thanking it for bringing us there and leading us to that awareness of the space we're in, the headspace we're in, and the feelings that we're having and the emotions that we're having, those underlying emotions that we're having around that. Okay, so let's thank it for allowing us to be in that space of honor and thank it for, sorry, I was just reading the comments there. David, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, is here as well. Thank you for joining us. So let's thank that negative thought for bringing us into that space and allowing us to honor that emotion and honor that spot or that place that we're in. And now, once we've done that, once we've felt into that emotion, and once we've thanked it, okay, now we can reword that thought. Okay, now we can anchor in what the positive thought can be surrounding that. Lamar says this is allowing a birth to happen. Absolutely, it is. It's allowing it's allowing a birth to happen, but it's also allowing us to embrace the underlying difficulty that's there with that thought. Because when we have that thought, we don't it's usually that thought is not what our underlying emotion is. It's not coming from the actual deep emotion that's inside of us. It's a surface thought. Okay, it's usually a surface negative thought, and it could be I'm gonna liken it to money. So if I think that money is not coming to me, okay. Now, that money is not coming to me can come from a million different places. It could come from a space of not feeling like I deserve that money to come to me. It can come from a space of not trusting the person that's sending the money. It could come from a space of having a money block in any way, shape, or form, not feeling like I deserve money, period. So that thought can come from so many different emotions and so many different things that are underlying, okay? So when we get to the bottom of that and we see what that is and we feel into that and we embrace that, okay? And we honor where those feelings are, now we can reword the thought, okay? Now we can make it into a positive thought. So if that thought was, I'm not going to be good at that, I'm going to fail at that job, or that money is not going to come into me, now I can reword that. Now, depending on how I was feeling about it. So if I'm feeling I'm not going to do well at that job because my credentials are not good enough, now I can embrace that, and the positive thought or the positive reframing of that can be, I have all of the skills that I need in order to fulfill that job or that duty, okay? Now, because I got to the bottom of that emotion, I can reframe that negative emotion in a positive way that actually means something to me and allows me to move forward in that positive way. And I'm not able to do that when I just reframe that within my head, okay? Because I haven't really thanked that emotion and thanked that thought, that negative thought, and felt into that negative thought and really dive deep into what the actual underlying emotion is with that negative thought, because it's just a surface thought, right? So now that I've gone underneath the surface, okay, and I figured out what that emotion is, now I can reword and reframe that negative thought into a positive way using that emotion, using that underlying emotion. So if the thought is, I don't deserve money, that money's not coming into me because I don't deserve money, now I can reframe that with, I deserve all of the abundance in the world that comes to me. I deserve that paycheck to come into me because I worked hard for that paycheck. Whatever, I'm trying to think of what underlying emotion could come from that. It could be that you did the job and you don't feel like you did it well. You can reframe that by saying, that pay will come to me because I did the best job that I could do. Okay, I gave that job 100% of my energy. Okay, so you can reframe that in a positive way based on that underlying emotion. So not only are you able to reframe that thought better in a better way, but you're actually able to embrace and honor the negativity. So I'm going to go back through a few comments here. Simone said, yes, do not ignore it, embrace it and change it into something positive and create it into something incredible. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to change it into the positivity and not only embrace the negativity, Simone, but thank the negativity for showing up. Because when that negative thought shows up, it's signaling to us that there is that underlying emotion there. So we want to really have gratitude for that negative thought coming up for us, because it allows us, delving into that negative thought allows us to dig down and find that underlying emotion and really work through the emotion and move through it to come to a positive state and to reframe it in a positive way, and reframe it in a way that we're actually getting over the underlying emotion, not just the surface negative thought. So it really allows us to dive deeper. Neil says we all feel inadequate at something. Absolutely. That just spoke to me. We all absolutely feel inadequate at something at all times in our lives. Okay, I would say there's probably not very many days where all of us go where there's not some little thing where we think, wow, I could have done better at that, or even jokingly we say that sometimes. I've been on business calls before and we've all laughed at how, silly we were at something, and if we flubbed something or whatever, and we were able to laugh at it, but there's always something. We're always learning. We're always learning and growing from experiences that we have, and sometimes that brings about inadequacies, and it's how we deal with those inadequacies and those emotions that are underlying those surface negative thoughts that matter. And if we can honor that inadequacy, that feeling of inadequacy, and if we can honor all of the emotions underlying that surface thought, that certain negativity there, that surface negativity, then it allows us to really reframe the proper thing, reframe that emotion that's underlying it, and not just that surface thought. Chris Hall is watching. Welcome, Chris. All right, so to wrap up, my friends, I'll just give a quick recap. Your homework for this week is to notice any negative thoughts that you have. Get a piece of paper, write down that negative thought, and you don't have to do it right away, but try to do it that day at some point. Find a quiet time, find some quiet space, and really delve deep into the underlying emotion behind that negative thought. Write that down. Write down why you think you had that negative thought, what's bringing you into that space, okay? Really honor that negative thought. Give it gratitude for bringing you there and bringing you into that emotion, and then reframe that emotion. Not the negative thought that was up here on the surface. Reframe the emotion that's underneath it. Okay, friends? All right. I wish you well with all of that. If you are watching and you'd like to comment, if you're watching the replay and you'd like to comment, please do feel free, and I will come into the comments and answer to you there. If you would like to discuss the journaling homework for this week or anything that's come up for you, please do send me a message in Messenger. I am Melissa Ross, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness, and I wish you all a wonderful week. I will see you in the next video. Lamar says, awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, my friends. Good night.